Hey kids, so I started the video the other day where we were doing like a French loaf with just a really basic bread with flour, water, yeast, salt. Completely forgot to film myself doing the rest of the thing. I let it proof and then didn't record it. So here I am with another batch. This is actually a very different recipe, so hopefully it'll be similar enough that it works. So this is a recipe that is sourdough. So I've started a sourdough starter a couple weeks ago, and basically what you do is you mix water and flour, and you feed it every day. Give it a little more flour and a little more water every day, or maybe a couple times a day, depending on how fast you want to do it. And you hope that you will catch the right kind of yeast that just lives in the world around us, that it will make tasty bread. If it turns dark and gross and... Sorry. We have the cooking buddy with us. If it turns kind of dark and kind of smelly, like a bad smell, then you don't want to use it. But if it smells like yeast, beer has that kind of yeasty smell to it. You shouldn't know what that smells like, but if you've ever made bread before, which you have in class, right? If it smells like that, then you can go ahead and use it. If it smells like sourdough, then you can go ahead and use it. So that's what I've done. I've been growing it for quite a while. So this is my bread that I made with it. It's been rising all day long. It takes a lot longer for this to rise than when you use just store-bought yeast. So this is actually a different kind of flour too. It's called einkorn flour. And if you were there the day that we watched the video on sustainability, we talked about it in the video. But it's flour that hasn't been cultivated. It's what wheat used to be before we grew it and crossbred it, and our farming methods kind of changed the breed over the past couple millennia, and so it's a very early form of the plant. But the cool thing is, in test kitchens, they've been able to feed this to people with gluten intolerance, and they've been able to eat it without it hurting them. So that's kind of cool. So I decided to try some. It's kind of expensive right now. Hopefully it'll get less expensive if they cultivate it more. But here we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this out. Let me grab a scraper here. And I'm going to flour my board. I'm going to turn this out, knead it a few times, and then I'm going to shape it. Okay? Hey, little cooking buddy. Need some more things. Okay. So I'm going to turn this out. I'm going to flour my cupboard or my countertop liberally here. And I've got my bowl scraper. Use a spatula for this too, like a rubber scraper. And I'm going to turn this out onto the board. The recipe says to make this into one loaf. I think I'm going to make it into two though, because it's pretty big. Now this is a lot stickier. Oh, that smells quite fragrant with the natural yeast. So this is cool. The yeast that grows from the sourdough starter actually grows within the kernel of the wheat for this particular variety. So it's really easy to do a sourdough starter with this. All right, so I'm gonna kind of punch it down a little bit, and we knead it a few times. So let me put this downwards, see if I can get a good angle for the lighting here. Oh, my kid's freaking out. You got your prunes, you're good? Okay. All right, so with kneading, I'm gonna fold it, fold it, fold it. Okay. Punch it down, fold it in, fold it up. And you always kind of want to fold towards the middle, and that's gonna develop your gluten. Now you can't, you can do this in a KitchenAid mixer with some types of bread. You can't do that with all types of bread though. Let's see. Yeah, I think I'm gonna divide this into two. This is a pretty good looking loaf. half with my thing here, my bowl scraper. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna knead it. And what I want is for the top to be smooth once I'm done pushing all this to the center. Get it in frame here better. So again, I wonder if it, oh, there we go. Okay. All right. So now we want it to stick a little bit to the countertop, not too much though, so I'm gonna kind of scrape. Don't want to stick to your hands. I'm gonna flour my hands, and I'm just going to take it and kind of roll it. Too much flour there, okay. You can. There we go. Okay. So as I roll it within my palms, it's kind of taking the top skin of the dough and it's kind of folding it and tightening it up. That way you get a really nice even rise and your loaf will turn out nice and even instead of being like lumpy on one side. Okay, here we go. Okay, now, it's a bit of a conundrum how to get this into the oven because what I need to do is I have a pizza stone in there, and you can also cook it in a Dutch oven, but I'm gonna try and do it on my pizza stone. So I need to get it from the pizza peel onto the pizza stone. And normally, if I was doing a regular loaf, I would put some semolina flour down, which is a little bit more coarse, but I don't want to introduce gluten into this gluten-free. Well, it has gluten in it, but this, the different, a different type of gluten that doesn't hurt gluten-free people. So I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit of the einkorn flour and hope for the best. Okay. A scraper here. Keep the shape. And then we're gonna let this proof till it's about double. And then we're gonna slash it and bake it. Okay, same thing with this next loaf. And luckily I was able to borrow one of the peels from school, and one of them was mine. So I can do 2 loaves at a time. Otherwise, it gets a little tricky to do 2 loaves at a time because you have to let it proof on the, you know, like you can't really move it out once it's done proofing. Okay, this one's working a little better actually. Okay, nice tight loaf. A little sticky. This is much, much stickier than the flour of today. Okay. Oh. Hold on. Okay, again, I'm gonna flour the board. Pretty liberally here. A little bit closer so you can see a little better. So there's my flour on my board. Okay, and we're gonna put this, put it down, and let these rise, and then we'll slash and bake. All right, so I'm just waiting for my oven to heat up here. We've got both of our loaves that have proved, and unfortunately, I covered them with saran wrap, and the plastic got stuck a little bit, and so it's kind of wrecked the nice, even, smooth tops. You can kind of see, let me see if I can get the light right here. So you can actually see, but if you see there's some kind of cracks where the dough has split, those are places where the saran wrap stuck. So when it goes into the oven and the oven spring hits it, it's probably gonna kind of explode out of those parts. So unfortunately I don't have the right tool for this job. But when we put them in the oven, we want to slash the loaves. And what that means is, if you've ever seen a loaf, like a baguette or whatever, they've got kind of the slashes. And what that does is it gives the oven spring a place to burst out of without just tearing through whatever random kind of weak spot there is in the loaf. And so it makes it pretty instead of random. So you can use, this is a razor blade. My husband just uses these to shave, so we have them around. And there's actually a tool for this. It's called a lame, a bread lame, and it's basically like a razor blade on a little handle, and they're super, super sharp. And so you just go, and you can get some nice slash marks without kind of dragging it through. I've tried to use an X-Acto knife before because I didn't have a lame, and it didn't work at all. And this kind of works, but you got to be really careful because they're double-sided, so you can get your fingers. So I'll show you on this one first because I think I'm gonna, maybe we'll throw this one in first because it's prettier. So my oven's almost up to temperature. Oh, you know what? One more thing I need. This is a spray bottle full of water. And what this does is when I spray it in the oven, it'll create a lot of steam. And that steam is what gives the bread its crust. It's like that big, that nice thick, like crunchy goodness from the outside. And we don't have to do that if you don't want a thick crust. But if you want that crust, then you do. So normally, I wouldn't use my scraper at this point. Normally it would just be, have enough flour on the bottom, and I'd use semolina. But this is the stickiest type of flour I've ever worked with. So I'm gonna give it a little bit of help to kind of slide off. Hopefully that's enough. Stick some of this underneath here. Well, you don't want to mess with the loaf that much. Okay, so let's see. You want to do this right before you put it in the oven. And what pattern do I want? Let's see. The traditional is just kind of go around one side. It kind of lifts up. That's kind of cool. You can do like a crisscross. We'll do that. Okay, now I'm going to take this, we're going to slide it into the oven. Let me see if I can get, okay. There we go. Just like with the pizza, if you've seen the pizza video, if not, it's upcoming. So now we leave it in there. Oh, gotta spray it. I like to be liberal. Here, let me put this back here so you can see. I'm gonna spray it right when it goes in, and then again in like 2 or 3 minutes. I'm not really spraying the bread so much as I'm spraying the side of the oven so that it hits the oven and it gets so it steams up. I don't want to spray straight on the element though, because I don't want to short out my oven. So be a little careful, hit the side. Okay, we'll be back once the bread's done. A good shot of this. All right, we're back, and I think that it is ready to come out. So you can tell when it's nice and crusty and nice and golden brown, and also if you stick a thermometer right in the center, if it reads like 190-ish to 200, then that means that all the moisture is evaporated that you want to be evaporated, and that it's not gonna be doughy in the middle. So here we go. Once again, we take our pizza peel. Now, I've been using, like if you have a cookie sheet that's just flat, that doesn't have a rim on it, you can use that too, to transfer. It's a little harder when it's metal, I think it sticks a little bit more to the metal than to the wood. But I mean, not everybody has one of the, you can get them for cheap, but if you don't have one around, you know, like you're not out of luck, you can still do this. You do need the pizza stone though. Okay, so slide this underneath. That's a little. That's gonna go. You're not really supposed to use the back of the oven as a support, but you can. All right, it's looking pretty good. Let's see, look at the camera so you can see it. Let's see. Tell you what, I'll take pictures. Okay, for the next loaf, we're gonna do the same thing. And we're gonna slash, and we're going to bake, and I'm gonna try to get a time lapse of this one, because I think that'd be kind of cool. So, and this one's, it's gonna break ugly on this one, but it's okay. I am by no means an expert bread baker, especially with einkorn. It is a very new thing for me. Okay, I did like a little 3 slash thing, I don't know, whatever. No particular reason, but set the camera back up so you can see it. Okay. Okay. We're stuck in one spot. Like I said, I think this is the stickiest dough I've ever worked with because of the type of flour that it is. If you do it with regular flour, it's not gonna be so bad. Okay, so I'm gonna set up and we're gonna try to do a time lapse. Okay. Oh, and we need to spray. Don't forget to spray. Okay, I just wanted to record again, and hopefully you can hear it. It's singing. I don't know if you can hear it, but that faint little crackling noise, that's actually called singing, and that is the sign of a well-baked loaf. So it's really nice and crusty. I'm actually pretty happy. I mean, it's ugly, but I'm happy with how it turned out.